Alright guys, thanks for clicking on this week's video. Today we're going to go over Warren Buffett's $1 million bet. And first off, I'm going to go explain what the bet was and why he won, and how this information can benefit you, and some other books that it actually related to. So first things first, Warren Buffett basically made $1 million bet in 2007 against the hedge fund manager Ted Sides. And basically what this bet entailed was that he would invest into an index fund that mimicked the Standard & Poor's 500, and he bet that this fund would actually outperform pretty much all the hedge fund managers against it. And well, in case you guessed it, of course, Warren Buffett won the bet, and by a decent amount too. The funny thing about this whole thing is more so what this bet represented. It basically represented that an index fund where you did nothing with it, you basically bought these stocks and held forever, paying little to no minimal fees, would outperform one of the best stock managers in the world. And this actually goes back to the idea of the book called The Little Book of Common Sense Investing by John C. Bogle. And the reason they relate perfectly so well is because that book was literally written for the sole purpose that index funds are the best way to increase profit. They're safe, secure, and they increase with the market. In the book, it talks about how the world's economy GDP increases by around 6.7%, I believe, and that companies with it increase about at the same rate with about a 0.1% difference, pretty much nothing. And that it was easier just to invest into an index fund since there were minimal fees acquainted with it, and arguing how overtrading can really diminish a retail trader's returns. Hence why hedge fund managers are actually a bad idea, since they typically trade more often, since they aren't holding these stocks forever over these long 10 years, and they charge a fee no matter what, if they lose money or make money. Warren Buffett gave a great analogy to this when he talked about a small family who theoretically owned 100% of every single stock in the stock market and would buy 100% of the shares on every single IPO. And this family was making a ton of money and becoming wealthier and wealthier every year until they started getting these helpers. And these helpers would advise them what to do and would charge them for their services. And what the wealthy family noticed is they actually would have less and less money every single year because these helpers were charging them more and more and more. Until one day they went to another helper and asked them, hey, what can you do to help us restore our former glory? Because we noticed that we keep heading more and more downhill no matter how many helpers and managers we hire. And he paid this guy a fee, and what he told him was that he needs to fire every single helper that he has. Now, the reason they hired the helpers in the first place was because they were told that they can make more money with their help. And this was all relating to the idea that Warren Buffett's $1 million bet would win due to the fact that hedge fund managers overtrade, make bad calls. And the way this relates to you is you can take it with either you would like to invest in index funds because of the simple fact that they do perform better and there's a decent track record and the evidence is irrefutable. Or you can understand that as a retail trader, you don't need a hedge fund manager to manage your money for you, and you can just do it yourself. Either way, the choice is up to you. And I hope you guys liked the video. It was a pleasure to make it. Remember to leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more future content.